And let's find our seats. So starting off in a nice, stable and comfortable seat. You might sigh a few times, just settling in, feeling the support of the chair beneath you, feeling the backs of the thighs resting down. See if you can give yourself a nice, steady base. You might shrug the shoulders a few times, just kind of getting out any fidgets that feel like they want to come out. Before starting to settle in, and we'll find a little bit of stillness to start class. Adjusting your feet so that they feel stable on the ground, soles of the feet on the earth. And from here, the movements might get a little bit more subtle. You might rock back and forth on the sit bones or side to side, and find a place where you feel nice and balanced, where the weight feels centered and equal on both sides of your body. And you might start to lift the crown of the head up, lengthening the spine without any rigidity per se, but just giving yourself some space, a gentle stretch or lift upward. And even with that lift upward, you soften the shoulders down around the spine, keeping length in the spine, but finding some softness in the shoulders. Finding some softness maybe in the neck, in the throat, in the back of the neck. Letting your hands either rest palms down or palms up, whatever feels most natural and good for you. And then having established our nice tall posture, let your awareness move to your breath. Whatever that means for you. Where do you notice your breath? You might notice it in the temperature of the air as it comes in and out of your body. You might notice the temperature of the air as it enters your body at the back of your throat. You might notice your body or your breath rather, in the way that your body moves. Just let your awareness rest on your body as it breathes or on your breath for a few moments, a few cycles. And then noticing any areas of tension in your body, just shifting your awareness a little bit. And noticing if any tension has either crept in or if it never left as we settled in. You might soften the forehead. You might soften the jaw. You might soften the shoulders. You might imagine softening the ribs, not just the front ribs, but the side ribs, back ribs. Allowing your breath to expand all the way around. You might soften the thighs or the knees, maybe the fingers or the toes. Noticing the areas of your body that are required to keep you in the nice tall seat, lengthy spine. And then the parts of your body that aren't necessary to keep this posture, what can you soften? While maintaining the integrity of the tall seat. Spending a few more breaths noticing. And then we'll start to move gently into the head. Let's start with turning the head from one side to the other. So taking a nice inhale here in this tall seat. As you exhale, allow the head to look over one shoulder or move towards that direction. And pause here, just breathing, let the turn be soft. And then let's unwind the head, bringing it back to center. And when you have your next exhale, turn the head the other way, so you were looking over the other shoulder. Taking a breath or two here. And then unwinding. And pausing. And then let's move with breath. Exhaling over one shoulder. Inhaling back to center as you're ready. And exhaling over the other way. Continuing to move with your breath. Inhaling to center. And exhaling to one side at a time. And the next time you feel even, let your head come back to center. Pause here for a moment. Noticing any sensations in the neck and in the head. And then we'll nod the head up and down. Let's start by holding the pose for a moment. So as you exhale, letting the chin come down towards the chest and pausing here, continuing to breathe, but pausing in the shape. Breathe space into the back of the neck. And when your next inhale arrives, let's lift the chin, tipping the head up. And pause here for a couple of breaths, breathing into the front of the throat, front of the neck. And we'll move with breath, exhaling to let the chin come down towards the chest when you're ready. And inhaling to lift. Moving between these shapes a couple more times. Following the rhythm of your body. And the next time you feel even, let the head come back to center, facing forward. And pause. Let's tip one ear towards one shoulder. So we're tipping the head on a diagonal and pause here. You might let the opposite shoulder get a bit heavy if that would feel good. You could let the opposite arm hang down away from you. These are options. And let the head come back up to center. You might replace the arm in your lap. Take a breath in between sides. And then we'll tip the other ear towards the other shoulder. Maybe letting the opposite shoulder get heavy, maybe hanging the arm down. Continuing to breathe. And then letting the head come back up to center, bring the hand back to your lap. Pause. Notice sensations here. If there are any intuitive movements that would feel good in the head and neck, then allowing yourself that movement, that freedom. Taking a few moments just to see what your body needs. What would feel nice. And then making your way back up to center. That nice tall seat again. And we'll move down into the shoulders. Let's roll the shoulders. Whichever way feels most natural first. And then rolling the shoulders the other way. Releasing the shoulders down for a moment. And let's roll one shoulder at a time towards the back. So rolling right back and then left back. Right and left. Right and left. And then release the shoulders down again. And then we'll switch directions. We'll do right shoulder forward and then left forward. Right forward and left forward. Right forward and left. Last round, right and left. And then release the shoulders. Pause. Notice sensations. Back to moving them at the same time. Let's shrug the shoulders up towards the ears. Inhale. As you exhale, release them. Inhaling up. Exhaling to release. Last one, inhaling up. Exhaling to release. Pausing here again. Moving into the shoulder blades a little bit. Let's bring the hands so that the palms are facing the floor, elbows bent. With an inhale, we'll draw the elbows back, pulling the shoulder blades together. And as you exhale, release the shoulder blades, release the elbows a little bit forward. Inhaling to draw back. Exhaling to release. See if you can aim just for the shoulder blades, keeping the belly steady without arching into the low back. And release. Moving with your breath a couple more times, focusing on the upper back, that area behind your heart. Releasing the shoulder blades. Last one, inhaling, squeeze shoulder blades. And release. Release the arms for a moment, give the shoulders a rest. And then we'll spread the shoulder blades apart this time. So again, starting in a similar position, palms facing the floor, elbows bent. But this time we'll reach forward, separating the shoulder blades or pulling the shoulder blades away from each other and spreading the area between the shoulder blades. And then releasing. Inhaling, exhaling to reach the fingertips forward. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Let this be the last one. Exhaling to spread the shoulder blades apart. And then release. The hands come back down to your lap. Finding any gentle movement that would feel good, any counter movements, maybe a roll of the shoulders, maybe a self-hug. And then coming back to your nice tall seat, resetting. Moving down into the elbows a little bit. Let's reach the arms out about shoulder height, if that feels okay for shoulders. We'll start off with palms facing up. And as we exhale, we'll bring the fingertips to the shoulders. Inhaling to stretch the fingers away. Exhaling to bend. Moving with your breath. Letting this be the last one, then we'll switch to reach forward. Exhaling still to bring the fingertips to the shoulders. Moving with your breath. Last one here. And then releasing the arms down, pausing. Moving into the wrists, excuse me, a little bit. Just gently pull in the elbows towards your sides. Just not necessarily too rigid or too pinned, but keeping the idea of keeping the elbows sort of tucked in a little bit. With the elbows tucked, we'll find some wrist circles. When you're ready, we'll switch directions, circles the other way. And then we'll move into the wrists in a few different directions at a time. So let's, with the elbows still tucked in, we'll reach the fingertips up towards the ceiling. And then fingertips down towards the floor. Up towards the ceiling again. And down towards the floor. And let the fingertips reach forward. And this time we'll move on a lateral plane. So squeezing the fingers and thumbs all together so they're all in line. Then we'll tip the wrist or tip the hand so that the thumb side of your hand is coming inward towards the belly button. Keeping the fingers together, now we'll send the pinky side of your arm towards the outsides of your body. Inward. And then outward. Last one, inward. And outward. And then shake out the hands, shake out the wrists. Let that go. Moving down into the spine. Let's start off with our twist today. So finding your nice tall seat, reset. Feeling the feet on the floor again. Just kind of reestablishing that nice length in the spine, letting the shoulders melt down around the spine. Taking a few breaths here. Inhale. As you exhale, let's turn the shoulders towards the left side of the room. The hands can walk along your thigh. You can use your outside edge of your knee for support if you wish. The left hand can come to the backrest of the chair or the seat of the chair or behind you on the chair. You might look over your left shoulder if that would feel good. Keep breathing. Let the breath be as smooth as possible. All while keeping that nice length in the spine. With your next inhale, let's unwind, coming back to center. Pause here for a moment. Give yourself a moment to notice sensations, anything that's different from one side of your body to the other. And we'll set up for our twist on the other side. Again, a nice tall inhale. As you exhale, turn the shoulders towards the right. The hands can walk along the body. Right hand could come to the backrest or to the side of your chair or behind you on the seat of the chair. You might look over your right shoulder or have that intention, moving the head in that direction. And breathing. Keeping lots of length in the spine. When your next inhale arrives, we'll unwind, coming back to center. Pausing for a moment. Then from here, moving into our side bend. Let's reach the arms up wide, nice wide V shape. If it would feel good as a variation to bring the hands closer together or even to clasp the hands. That's an option, not necessary. So you can choose whether to have the wide V or to bring the hands together. In either variation, reach the fingertips upward, keep the sit bones heavy, almost like you're reaching fingertips and sit bones away from each other, stretching the body. As you exhale the next time, tip over to one side, keeping the sit bones firmly on the chair, then inhale back up. And exhale over to the other side. Inhale back up. Let's do one more on each side, exhaling over. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Inhaling up. And releasing the arms down when you're ready. Pause. Give yourself that moment to notice, to sense what's happening in the body, to notice sensations. And then we'll move into arching and rounding the spine. Bringing your hands towards your knees. Find that nice neutral spine, our starting point. As you exhale, round the spine like a Halloween cat. We're spreading the shoulder blades gently apart. We're pulling the belly in towards the back of the room or towards your spine, and the chin tucks down. With your inhale, let's draw the belly forward and the chest forward like you're shining your heart forward. Gaze can lift. Exhaling to round, Halloween cat shape. Inhaling to arch, cow pose. Moving with your breath a few times. When you've had enough, after you feel even the next time, allow your body to come back to that tall and neutral seat. Nice tall spine, stable bum, stable feet. Letting the arms soften and relax or soften into your lap. Let's play with a little bit of core work today. I'm going to turn sideways, so I'll show the shape I'm making a little more clearly. You can stay as you are. This is just so the camera has a better angle. So sitting closer to the edge of your chair, your sit bones still need to be stable, but just so you have more space between you and the backrest, we want a fair amount of room in order to lean back. Let's bring the hands behind us on the seat, so you can hold the outside edges of the seat behind you. And then starting off, just draw the shoulder blades together a little bit, broad chest, leaning back. From here, give a little cough just to remind yourself what the core muscles are, sort of what parts of your body pull in when you cough, all those supportive muscles around the torso. Just notice what contracts. And then see if you can hold that contraction. Continue to breathe. And then maybe we'll bring the legs up onto the tippy toes. You might play with lifting one leg at a time. Switching every now and then. And then release the feet back to the ground. Let's widen the legs, soften forward. Breathe into the belly and the waist and the low back. Just soften all those core muscles. Using your breath to release the contraction, to release the tension if there's anything hanging on. And then come on back up again. Find this work a couple more times. Setting up your feet again in their more neutral position, that nice tall spine or tall seat position. Then again, we'll lean back, holding the outside edges of the chair. Find your contraction, find the core muscles. And then start to bring the legs towards you again. So you might stay on the tippy toes. You might play with lifting one leg at a time. But just for fun, how would it feel
to maybe imagine that you could lift both and breathe. It might help to lean further back on the chair, giving yourself a little more balance or counterbalance, I guess. And then if you happen to find that balance point, how would it feel? Maybe, this might be crazy, to let your arms release the chair. Only if you find that balance point. And then when you're ready, releasing the feet down. You might again widen the legs, folding forward, finding the work, or softening the work, breathing into the belly, softening the muscles there, softening the muscles around the sides of your torso and waist, softening the back. Give yourself a couple of breaths here. And then one more time, your version. Come on back up, set yourself up in your tall seat. You could play with leaning back and coming onto the toes again, or playing with one leg at a time, or lifting both but holding the edge of the chair, or if you can find that balance point, maybe lifting both legs and letting the arms sort of float beside you, maybe hovering over the security of the chair. And keep breathing. Releasing when you're ready, both feet back down to the ground. Last fold forward for this little sequence, breathing into the belly, softening the core muscles. Releasing the contraction. As you're ready, making your way back up to our chest, go down into the legs. Start off with the right leg. So bringing the right knee up towards you. Either the toes can stay on the floor and we can draw circles with the toes, or the foot can lift. You can support under the thigh or around the shin, or using a towel or belt or strap. We'll find some circles. In either way, in any variation, we're moving the leg in the hip socket, finding some range of motion there, or exploring range of motion. And let's switch directions, circles the other way. And letting the foot come forward, let the knee come forward, find some ankle circles here. Switching directions when you're ready. Pointing and flexing the foot a few times. Then either spreading the toes apart on their own and then curling them, or if you can reach your foot, then you might play with threading the fingers between the toes and just pausing there for a few moments, just kind of playing with fingers between toes, spreading the toes apart. If it doesn't feel good to reach toes, or you don't reach your toes, then we'll just play with spreading the toes apart and curling them in a few times. So when you've spread your toes enough, either release your fingers, release the foot back down to the floor, or if you're just spreading the toes and curling them in, let the foot come down to the floor. Pause for a moment. Notice differences from one leg to the other, one foot to the other, toes on one foot compared to the other. And then let's move over to the left foot. So either toes can stay on the floor, drawing circles with the toes, or the foot can lift, drawing circles with the knee. Exploring your range of motion today. We'll switch directions, circles the other way. Bringing the knee forward when you're ready.
We'll keep the foot lifted and find some ankle circles. Switching directions when you're ready, circles the other way. Pointing and flexing a few times. And then playing with the toes. So either spreading the toes apart and then curling them in together, just in the air. Or if you can reach the foot and it would feel good to thread your fingers, or if you can reach your foot, it would be beneficial probably if you can spread your fingers through your toes. And you can play with spreading the toes a little bit. And if it doesn't feel good or you don't reach your feet easily, then we'll just spread the toes and curl them in. Spending a few moments here, spreading the toes apart. Then when you feel you've had enough time spreading the toes apart, you can release your fingers if you're using them and release the foot down to the ground in either variation. Moving into our sun salutations. Let's spread the legs a little bit apart for today's variations. We'll change the legs each time just to give a sense of how each variation might feel. So nice wide legs first. Find your nice tall seat. And then with an inhale, we'll either spread the arms out wide or the hands can be in a prayer position and sweep up through the center. So your choice, which one you'd like to do. With an inhale, bring the arms up. Then as you exhale, let the arms come back down. Hands to the thighs, inhale, arch the spine, cow pose, chest and belly forward, gaze lifts. As you exhale, round the spine, Halloween cat shape. Inhaling back to neutral, nice tall spine, softening the shoulders. And then exhale to fold forward. With an inhale, sweep the right arm up into a twist. And exhale all the way back down. Inhaling the left arm up into a twist. And exhale back down. Coming all the way back up when you're ready. Inhale, either arm sweep up wide or up through center. And exhale to release the hands back down. Pause for a moment. And let's change the leg variation, maybe bringing them in to about a neutral position. Sort of hip width distance, your usual seat. With the legs in this position, as we fold forward, you'll likely feel some compression between belly and thighs, which is said to be beneficial for the digestive organs. All right, when you're ready, you choose your hand variation again, either wide arms or up through center. Inhaling as you're ready, sweep the arms up or bring them up through center. Exhale to release the hands back down. Inhaling to our cow pose, chest and belly forward, gaze lifts, shoulder blades pull together. Exhale to round Halloween cat, tucking the front body in, curling in on yourself. Inhaling all the way back to a tall spine, soft shoulders. And exhaling to fold forward, squeezing belly and thighs together. With an inhale, the right arm sweeps up into a twist. And exhaling all the way back down. Inhaling the left arm up into a twist. And exhaling down. Coming back to your tall seat, sweeping the arms up in the variation of your choice. And exhaling to release the hands back down. So having tested out a couple of variations, for the third sun salutation seated, you can choose your variation. So either wide legs or narrow legs, arms can sweep wide or come up through center. As you're ready. Inhale to bring the arms up. Exhale to let them come down again. Arching the spine next. Inhale, chest and belly forward, gaze lifts. Exhale to round Halloween cat shape. Inhaling back to neutral, tall spine, soft shoulders. And exhale to fold forward. Inhaling the right arm up into a twist.
And exhale back down. Inhale the left arm up into a twist. Exhaling down. Coming all the way back up. Inhale, arm variation of your choice. Exhale to release. Pause for a moment, notice sensations in the body. Just before we move up to standing, let's do a little bit of extra seated work. So let's bring the legs into a wide position. Not so wide that you're already feeling any strain, but as wide as you can comfortably maintain your legs. Then let the hands come to the insides of the knees. Palms to insides of knees. We'll come into a variation of an upper body twist. From this nice tall position, as you exhale the next time, push the right knee away with the right hand and draw the right shoulder towards the left knee. Then inhale back up. And then we'll switch sides. Exhale as you push the left knee away and draw left shoulder towards right knee. Inhaling back up. Moving with your breath. Exhale, push right knee away. And inhale back up. Exhale, left knee away. Inhale back up. A couple more times if it feels okay, moving with your breath. Alternating sides. One more round. And the next time you make your way back up to center, pause. Then bring your feet back together. And as we come to standing today, let's come through a chair pose. So bringing the heels in towards the chair. Feet can be about hip width distance apart. Hands can either come to prayer or to your waist. As you're ready to come up, exhale and lift off the chair just slightly. as little lift as possible, keeping the knees bent. But come up as high as you have to in order to come up. Breathe. Keeping the heart high and the sit bones low. And then let's release, coming all the way back or all the way up to standing. Releasing the arms, straightening the legs. From here, let's use the backrest of the chair first. We'll come into a variation of a side bend. Let's pack the chair on the left side. Left hand can have the stability of the chair. If it feels okay for the shoulder, we'll sweep the right arm up and overhead. And then exhale to tip over as though you could reach towards the seat of the chair or towards the far side of the room. Keep the chest almost as though you were spiraling up towards the ceiling, keeping the chest broad. And then let's come all the way up, reaching the arm up and releasing. And then we'll switch sides, switching the chair to the other side. Right hand on the chair. When you're ready, we'll sweep the left arm up. And as you exhale, tipping over to the left side, or right side, excuse me, tipping over the chair, over towards the opposite side of the room. Keeping the chest spiraling up and breathing. One more breath as long as you feel okay. And then we'll come all the way up again, releasing the arm. From here, let's find a downward dog with the chair. So we'll turn towards the backrest of the chair. Both hands can rest on the backrest. And we'll walk the feet back. Feet can be about as wide as the chair legs, if that makes sense or feels good. Knees can bend. And the net bend can be as generous as you like, reaching the tailbone in one direction and the crown of the head in the other. So imagine reaching tailbone towards one side of the room or reaching the tailbone away from the chair, away from your hands. Playing with the bend in the knees, you can notice what happens in the back. How does it affect the space, especially in the low back? Finding your perfect position. And when you're ready, let's come all the way back up to standing. Walking towards the chair slowly. As you arrive in standing towards the chair, the feet can be about hip width distance. And then find a nice tall and balanced standing position, equal standing or mountain pose. Letting the weight be equal on both sides of your body and both feet. And imagine all of the joints are stacked, knees over ankles, hips over knees, shoulders over hips, ears over shoulders. Find that balance. Notice if the weight's more on the heels or more on the balls of the feet, and even it out if you can. All right, from there, let's find a balance. With the hand being supported, right hand being supported by the chair. We'll stand on the right leg. Let's lift the left knee a little bit, toe can stay on the floor, and then we'll pivot the knee out to the side. Then the toes can either stay on the floor or the sole of the foot can lift and come to the shin, as long as you're below the knee joint. Keep the standing leg strong, draw the hip in. Then you might play with the supportive hand, letting it get slightly lighter. It might stay on the chair. Breathe. And let's bring the knee forward. Lift the leg as high as you can, just briefly, before releasing it to the ground. Wiggle out the hips. Let's switch sides. Put the support on your left side. Left hand has the support. We'll stand on the left leg this time. Right foot starts to get light. Coming up onto the toes. We'll swivel the knee out to the side. Toe can stay on the ground or the foot can lift coming onto the shin, as long as you're below the knee joint. Keep the standing leg really strong. Hip pulls in. And then you might play with balance here by playing with the supportive hand, getting a little lighter. Keep breathing. Beautiful. Then we'll bring the knee forward, stretch the leg out, lift as high as you can before releasing to the ground. Finding a little wiggle, a little shimmy in the hips. Maybe a little rub for the outside, the outer hips, and the glute med. If there's anything, any other movement you'd like to make, any other stretching or shape you want to do before we move back to seated, giving yourself that freedom, giving yourself the chance to move in a way that would feel good for your body. What does your body need? And once you've satisfied a little bit of that movement, then we'll come back to seated as you're ready. No rush to come back. As you settle back into your seat, you might keep a nice tall spine. If that would feel good, we can end with some quiet meditation. Or if it would feel good to lean back, softening your posture, you could lean back against the backrest, softening the feet away from the chair a little bit. Whichever position you decide on, come back to your breath for a few moments. Giving yourself a chance to notice any difference in the sensation of your body breathing from the beginning of class.
And we'll prepare to close practice. So allowing your hands to be where they feel best. They might rest down on your lap or come over your heart or into a prayer position. As you're ready, send some gratitude to yourself first for making the time to move and breathe and for honoring your body and your breath. With gratitude from me to you for allowing me to guide you through practice today. And with much gratitude to all the students and teachers who have come before us. Om Shanti, Shanti Shanti. Om Peace, Peace, Peace. Thank you for joining me.